Hello and welcome to Somewhere in the Spectrum. It's been a while, but today we have another book review. In the past, I've reviewed Spectrum Women and Dara McNulty's Diary of a Young Naturalist. Today we have another women's autism book written by journalist Laura James and published in 2018 by Bluebird Books for Life. It's called Odd Girl Out. This book charts Laura's discovery that she's autistic and follows her journey to understand herself better and build a life that can better support her. I was reading this book just before I was diagnosed, and I decided to try and keep track of when I related to see if I was on the right track. Yeah. As you can see, I found rather a lot that I related to. While Spectrum Women was really helpful to learn lots of new and relevant vocabulary, Odd Girl Out helped me understand how those things might look in everyday life, and therefore identify which traits were impacting me. I want to read a few excerpts from the book so you get an idea of what I mean and why I like it. So this first little bit is about sensory overload. Laura is in a hotel with her husband. I mean, we're worried already, right? See, he says, isn't it great to just enjoy the nothingness of lying quietly in the dark? Doesn't it make you feel better? How can he actually believe it's dark? It isn't dark, and it certainly isn't silent. A dull orange light from the corridor outside our room is seeping in under the door, and the shards of brilliant blue-white from the day outside are piercing irritating gaps in the curtains. A red light nags at me from the smoke alarm above my head. There's a low-level electrical hum coming from the TV on standby on the wall at the end of the bed. Every once in a while, footsteps echo in the hallway beyond the room. Voices bounce from the walls. Then, moments later, I hear key cards being pushed into slots and doors snapping open and slamming shut. Outside, there is a rustling in the trees and the distant sound of people playing tennis. I think I hear a dove. Do they have doves in France? I like that because it really makes you realize that you're not alone. You know, the number of times you've been to a hotel and you can't sleep and you're wondering why you can't sleep. And if you have a neurotypical person there, they're already asleep. They're already passed out and you're just lying there listening to the world go by. That's a really nice capture of all of the things that are happening in the silent darkness. This next bit is about getting a diagnosis, or the feeling that we might get from getting a diagnosis or from becoming self-diagnosed, from having that realization that you might be on the right track. I finally have some answers, something to explain why I am the way I am. It's a relief, a vindication. I'm not mad, sad, or bad. The term some psychiatrists use to categorize patients. Rather, my brain is differently wired. My experience of the world is at odds with how most other people see it. As Morticia Adams once said, what is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. I am not alone. There are others like me. People who understand how a label in a jumper or a seam on a sock can cause a feeling so distracting, everything else fades into the background. They would understand how it is to take everything literally. As a child, I had real problems with sayings such as, "Has the cat got your tongue?" The first time I heard it, I was so alarmed I had to check my tongue was indeed still in my mouth. I regarded cats with great suspicion for a long time afterwards, which was a shame, as generally I liked them much more than humans. Others with autism would understand how I can sit down and write a complicated feature article for a magazine or newspaper, but cannot get it together enough to get dressed and make myself breakfast each day. They would know what it's like to be above average intelligence, but never to have managed to pass an exam. To have been isolated and left behind at school, they would understand how, if I have one thing in my diary, I cannot do anything else. If I know I have a train to catch at noon, the hours between getting up and leaving for the station are rendered redundant. These people, those now taking hold of my hand, whom I want to meet, whom I need to know, would understand how getting a lovely surprise present is confusing and painful. They would know that all surprises, even those I had been forewarned would be amazing, hurt, almost physically. A surprise is brutal. It comes without warning. It sparks the bad feelings. Again, I really like this one because I felt myself that once I got my diagnosis, it was like I got a key. I finally understood this was the thing. So I really relate to this kind of relief, this vindication that she talks about. And this feeling once you start reaching out to the community that people get you, that you feel seen and heard. In the groups that I've been a part of, so many times people ask a question and so many times they think they're going to ask the question and it'll be phrased something like, I do this. Am I crazy? Every time in the comments, loads and loads of people saying, oh, me too, me too, me too. And often it's the only time that we've ever experienced that. And that's one of the reasons I really like this book. There's so many, so many moments like that where you feel like, oh, it's not just me. Okay, this is a thing. Finally, on acceptance, which is tricky. I have accepted that my autism, while not totally disabling, has an extreme effect on my life, and I have to take it into account. That I have managed to muddle through for so long has been down to luck and sheer grit. The cracks had always been there, but they weren't allowing in any light. I'm coming to accept now that there are huge advantages to being autistic. The quickness of my mind, my ability to take in new information, my intelligence, the passion I feel for the causes I believe in, my inability to take offense. The list goes on. I think of kintsugi, the Japanese art of mending broken pottery with powdered precious metals. The craft and the philosophy treat breakages and repairs as part of the history of any piece, rather than as something to hide. I am flawed. I am, in part, broken. Not by my autism, but by my insistence on fighting it, and by the stresses it places on me. My being different from most people around me, and the years of living a life not meant for me, have taken their toll. I look up pictures of kintsugi bowls. I see the gold cracks glistening and realize that without them, many of the pieces filling the screen on my laptop would be dull and ordinary. If they had been invisibly mended, they would always be slightly inferior, a lesser version of what they once were. Now, with their imperfections celebrated, they are somehow more. They are damaged, and that damage makes them beautiful. I'm not sure that I've quite got to that place yet. Yeah, easier said than done. But definitely the book is a journey that she's going through. So she's taking you on the journey too. And I think that's really helpful to help us process ourselves, our own journey. I think the book's great, no matter your gender, for helping to identify how autism might have shown up in your childhood and might still show up in your life. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions for other books. Yes, please, in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this channel useful. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.